Hey guys, welcome back to the Coffee and Cannoli podcast. This time I'm joined by the man who needs no introduction, the guy who's always about that high score, the Gamerpothead himself, Puttyman. Puttyman, welcome.
Thank you.
No
Well,
problem.
thank you. Appreciate being here and everything. Again, like I said, we haven't got to really actually do this on your end, so I'm pretty excited about it and everything.
Yeah,
So
I
can't wait
just I just featured on yours a few episodes back. So returning the favor. Us in the
I
community,
appreciate
we
it.
all help each other out, right?
Exactly. And I love doing these. And the thing is I don't get to do these that much. So when I get the opportunity, it's really exciting. So
Well, I
I'm a
really
talker
appreciate
too,
you
so
joining me today.
appreciate having me.
Perfect. Before we get into it, Putty, do you want to drop your details?
But yeah, just Google Gamer Potheads. You can find it everywhere. It's just the same as normal. Just Google Gamer and Potheads.
I'll have his just in the links in the description below as well for him. So this episode, it's about a month late, but Putty and I, we're going to be discussing our highlights and our lowlights and what we're looking forward to E3 from E3 that happened back this past June. So the format we're going to do is we're going to look at a couple games we're looking forward to, and then, like I said, some highlights and some lowlights. So Putty Man, let's start with some games that you're looking forward to.
Okay, so actually, going day by day, I'm not going to try to go every single day, but I will say the games that really isn't I will say that I would be expected out of me. Like, for example, when they revealed like Ubisoft, unfortunately, I did kind of get excited about Far Cry, but Ubisoft kind of left me dead on that way.
Yeah,
for me, it was actually good.
Ubisoft. We'll talk about that later in the episode. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first one for me was actually Gearbox's Tiny Tina's Wonderland. So I'm a huge Borderland fan, and the Borderland movie thing got me hyped up too. Like, both of those, I'm so excited. Like, I will be there day one to see the Borderlands movie. And Claptrap, I can't. When I saw Jack Black as voicing Claptrap, I was like, I'm done. Yeah, I'm done. That's it right there. That's perfect.
Kevin Hart as Roland, which I wouldn't expect, but I think he's going to be fantastic.
I think for me it was a size thing, not expecting it, because I feel like on my head Roland's a lot taller, but I'm like, you know what, I could see Kevin Hart doing it though. Now I think about it, you know what I mean, as far as the character.
Yeah, I could see Kate Blanchett is going to be Lilith. That's a perfect casting. And I forgot the young girl's name, but she was in, I think, Love and Monsters. She played that little girl in that film. She's going to be playing Tiny Tina. Adriana something, or Ariana something. I forgot her full name.
But see, what bothers me a little about that is because I'm a big Ashley Birch fan, and she was the one that does the voice. I actually watched her before she even did the voice when she did Ask What You Playing, and I was a big fan of her series. And so to see someone else play it, it's gonna be hard for me because I'm so used to her voice. Yeah, like even Claptrap, you can synthesize it, but like Tiny Tina has a distinct voice. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully she pulls it off, because Tiny Tina is like a favorite character of all fans. So it's kind of hard to like.
That's why they're bringing out Tiny Tina's Wonderland, right?
Exactly.
And it's kind of like it plays off the I think with Borderlands 2, right? The DLC that they had, it was kind of like a Dungeons and Dragons type of thing. So it's playing off of that type of I guess that type of feel to it. Yeah, that's definitely one of the highlights for me was the Gearbox showcase.
And see, the other two, I'll say there's four altogether that were highlights for me. The other one, of course, doesn't, in my channel, everyone believes why I'm excited about, is Guardians of the Galaxy. Even though Marvel Avengers was horrible, I still own it and play it occasionally, but my God, that game looks amazing to just watch. Hopefully it feels as well as it looks, you know what I mean?
Yeah, this is not a live service game. It's a single player.
Exactly.
So this could be the Marvel Ultimate Alliance that we were actually hoping for.
Yeah, I'm hoping so too. Well,
don't get me wrong. I didn't mind. Have you played a Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3?
Oh yeah, I played both of them. I even played the X-Men Legends, I think it was.
Yeah, but there was the one that came out a few years ago on the Switch.
No, I haven't played that one.
Yeah, it was fun, but it wasn't the same. You know what I mean? Yeah, if you're used to that 4-player co-op, it was but yeah, I'm looking forward to the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's going to play, I'm guessing it's going to play a lot like Mass Effect, because you're controlling you're controlling Star-Lord and you're controlling your party. You don't take control of the party, you know what I mean? You're leading your party.
And it kind of has also Final Fantasy feel to that way as well too, you know what I mean? Where you kind of lead the party, but you don't actually play with all of them. You just use them, you know. And then I did want to go ahead and mention this. There's two things I mentioned. The television Amico console looks pretty cool, the touchscreen. But the one thing, I've actually already jumped into this one, as mentioned, but I don't know if you saw the Mythical Games E3
that one I missed.
Okay, so they actually had a thing called Blanco's Block Party, and the reason I want to mention this is what the way they're doing it is you go and buy skins like you would in Fortnite or Call of Duty, but they become NFTs that you could sell. And I've actually
Ah,
bought one already, and it's already gone. As in, you can't get it from the item shop; it's no longer available. And you can actually unbox them and then level them up so they can actually become
gain
worth more
value.
money. Yeah,
Wow.
but you can also not unbox them. I kept two of them that I've gotten that both say NFTs and have a number stamp on them, and I haven't opened them. And so if this becomes because it's one of those games that plays kind of like what's it called Roblox games
Hmm.
Roblox, but anyway, it plays like that, where you can make your own levels and things like that, but your skins are actual NFTs that you
Okay.
can sell to somebody else that you could if you upgrade, you can sell it that way or sell it unboxed. I
Yeah.
decided not to unbox mine.
For
I
some of the
think
viewers, sorry, for some of the viewers that may not know, do you want to explain what an NFT is?
Yeah. So, it's hard to explain an NFT too because I'm still kind of new at it. So it's like a digital like a digital item that you can sell, and basically it's tracked where it's not tracked by banks, but it's tracked by everyone. You can see where it goes from one person to another, and it makes value based on going to each person and whether it has popularity to it. So, like for example, the
It's
NFT of the
digital
one
artwork, basically, is what it is. You're
exactly,
buying and selling
exactly.
digital art,
Yeah,
from
and
what
see
I
the one
understand.
yeah, exactly. And this is actually a video game digital art that you buy. They only put out 2,000 of them. And now, like the one I've got called Yeti is gone. So, if, like, for example, Blanco's Block Party becomes huge, then I have an NFT that's from season 0. So, for example, if they become big and get to season 5, this could possibly be big. And honestly, the reason I praise it is because I've never jumped into this kind of situation, but when I
Right.
saw it, I was like, this might be something worth, and it was only like $10. So I said, let me try to put something into it.
Yeah,
Maybe it'll
because
be worth
usually
it.
NFTs are pretty expensive.
Exactly. So to see that you can get it, like now the one I've got, I don't know the value because they haven't shown how the values are, but I think they're waiting to do all that stuff. So when that
Okay.
comes to be, I wanted to be there in the forefront. So that's the reason why I grabbed it. So
Yeah.
I haven't really got to play actual gameplay of it. I just went and grabbed the characters.
Yeah.
But I do suggest checking into it. It might be something you might be interested in,
So what
especially if
you
you like
have would be like a #1 comic issue that you've bagged and sealed,
exactly,
except it's
exactly,
digital instead of,
exactly.
to
And it's
put it in an
something you
analogy. Yeah.
and that yeah, and that's something that people like. For example, it's a comic book that they've only put a certain amount out, but now it's like
A variant cover.
exactly. So I actually have that version. Now it's a matter of is it going to go up in value? I just need to wait, just like comic books, actually, or anything you
Yeah.
collect in general. So, but
But
again,
even if
it's
they
just
don't, you
digital.
still have a cool collectible.
Exactly, and it's at
Makes
least
sense.
something I could say if the game does become popular. They're like, oh, well, you have something OG, kind of like having like if you're a Fortnite fan, like having a Renegade Raider skin or original Skull Trooper, like having that original thing that you can't get back now, but you have it to show off. So
Yeah.
that kind of got me
A flex
excited.
item, as the kids like to
Ex-
say.
exactly. Um, and then as far as any other highlights, I will say this real quick. There are a bunch of other ones that were kind of I feel, and we'll get to the showcases then. But I would feel those in general were my highlights for
Yeah.
the break.
For me, some of the games I'm looking forward to, you mentioned Tiny Tina.
Mm-hmm.
You and I, same era, same generation. I am looking forward to Metroid
Oh
Dread.
my god. Okay, so that was the other thing. I forgot about that one. That was
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. I'm just gonna stop you 1 second. I actually kind of dozed off on that because when they did the treehouse, it kind of got really boring.
Yeah.
But every time they did the Metroid Dread, I was like, I need to get a Switch. That's all I'm gonna
Yeah.
say. I need this
That's
Switch.
I've already that I don't pre-order a lot, but that's
Mhm.
already on a pre-order.
It's so good.
Obviously they showed Zelda, a little bit of Breath of the Wild 2, which I've played. I love the first one. Elden Ring, the highly anticipated game that it's kind of like, it plays a lot like Souls. I don't know what that's
Mhm.
going to be like, but I'm willing to give it a try. In my opinion, Microsoft killed it this year with Bethesda.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. As far as the showcases, definitely they had the best showcase. They did a great job on it.
Yeah.
And owning Bethesda right there, like Redfall, I wasn't that excited, but still, it's kind of one of those things.
It's
Like
another zombie type of, but it looks kind of
exactly,
cool. I want to
yeah,
admit the art
exactly.
style does look cool. It has kind of like that Fortnite art style too,
It
doesn't it?
does, it does.
Yeah.
That's why I think it appeases to me in that way.
And of course, highlight for me is always going to be Halo. I grew up with Xbox. For me, I've had every Xbox since the OG Xbox. So for me, Xbox Halo is always going to have a place in my heart. Same thing with Forza.
Hmm.
That game looks phenomenal. And with Game Pass to play it on PC with the specs that I have, The other one, go ahead. Sorry.
But no, I don't even know. I just did want to bring up the Halo thing. I actually had Halo 1 to Reach, and I actually had the collector's edition. I had the helmet that you get with Halo 3.
Oh, nice.
I had the statues for Halo Reach. But then once Bungie left it, I kind of lost it. It was the same thing with Gears left Epic. Now I want to buy an Xbox because everyone tells me that the newest Gears was great and that this Halo, it looks amazing. So I'm going to say I might be jumping back in that. But the problem is I want to switch in an Xbox, and it's kind of like, oh no, now I've got to decide which console.
You know what you do? If you have a PC, stick with PC because they're all on Game Pass. That's the one thing, like, not to shell for Microsoft, but that's one of the things that they kept iterating in their conference. Day one on Game Pass, PC and Xbox, right? So they're exclusives to Microsoft, but Microsoft Windows as well. That's still a Microsoft product, right? The other one I wanted to talk was that played really into my nostalgia factor was the remastered Final Fantasy 1 to 6.
Yeah, I feel like they've already done that though. I thought they had done something like that.
Never on PC. At least not Final Fantasy 1 and 2 on PC.
Okay, that might be why then. Because I thought they had released them, but I hadn't got to play them myself. So
yeah, and it's all going to be on mobile as well too, on mobile gaming and the Switch. I think. That's
right.
So
now, see, Switch might be the way I go with that and everything. Able to see it. I don't know if they're going to have any kind of like a custom animation cutscenes like added to it. So I don't know how they're going to work it because I think
it's more polished than anything.
Okay. Yeah. Well, either way, I can't wait to actually see it. I'm just hoping that I can get into it because it's been so long since I've been able to jump into something 8-bit because of the path I go on when it comes to gaming now, unfortunately.
Well, when you stream your Fortnite, where do you stream from, a PC or a PS4, if you don't mind me asking?
It's actually PS5. PS5, but I use a capture card in order to do it. So yeah. So
nightly, Puttyman, where's he? Here. There.
Yeah, it's gonna be it always does that. Yeah.
He's, in case you didn't know, he does stream Fortnite pretty much every night, right?
Yeah, except for Tuesdays because I got to get up early for Loki, and then of course Sundays because I take a day off for myself.
Yeah, so. Perfect. Yeah, so in case you guys didn't know, and like I said, going back to what we're saying, I'm looking forward. You mentioned it too, was Far Cry 6. I love the Far Cry series. Far Cry 5, I played that to no end. Like. Greg Burke as the father, like he did a phenomenal job as the main. Like Far Cry always seems to nail the actors with their villains.
Well, I will say, unfortunately, I didn't get to play 5. It was just a bad timing where I didn't get a chance to get it. But once I saw 6, because the thing is I actually watched an interview it was actually during Summer Game Fest, which of course was during E3.
Yeah,
and they actually talked to I can't think of his name that played. He plays on Mandalorian. I forget his name in Mandalorian.
Oh, Giancarlo Esposito.
Yes. So he actually talked about his like who would win in the battle. He picked the character from Far Cry. He picked what's his name from Breaking Bad, and then of course from Mandalorian. He picked from Mandalorian. He said downright he would kill all the other guys. But my whole point is seeing him play the villain or kind of villain in Far Cry 6 really does amp it up because it's been a while since I've really gotten into a Far Cry game. Right. So seeing him, he's one of those actors that it's kind of like Christopher Walken. It's like whatever he's in, I just want to be a part of it. You know what I mean?
He's iconic. He always plays the villain so well, but a villain you can empathize with, not just the evil master scheme villain. He's a villain you can empathize with. And did you see the highlight with the Macarena gun? Speaks for itself.
Oh, I did not see that part because
honestly, there is a, you know how Far Cry has always been known for like custom weapons and stuff like that. There's a weapon which is a CD launcher that literally plays the Macarena.
No way.
Go look it up, guys. Look up the Macarena gun, Far Cry 6. It's amazing.
Yeah, no, what happened was, unfortunately, when they showed it at E3, I walked away, so I had to go look it up, the footage later on. But I didn't know they actually showed that on there. And like I said, that was actually one of those things because I was streaming it, so I had to use the restroom. Like, oh God, I got to use the restroom, that kind of thing. It was one of those things where the only thing I saw later on was the actual trailer that they showed. So it was one of those things where I'm excited about it, but I did put myself a little bit higher with stuff like Guardians of the Galaxy, things of that nature, just because I'm a big Marvel buff. So of course to see it done right, and then at the same time, I'm hoping I could pre-order the special edition to get that soundtrack. But
the soundtrack, and that's the thing. Like thanks to James Gunn, the anything Guardians of the Galaxy now has like a phenomenal, like anything that's attached. Even have you played the Telltale games one?
Yes, exactly.
Even that
That's my point. Yes.
Even that has a great nostalgic soundtrack to that. Like all these songs from like the late 70s, like songs that are forgotten but are really, really good.
And that's why I'm so excited to get involved with it, because I'm gonna have to be careful, of course, because I know once you use his special ability, it amps up the music, and I don't know how they're gonna do that as far as the copyright, but it's like still I gotta see it as it is, so I might have to just take that loss because I'm excited about it. So
yeah, but even I was thinking about it too, like even playing the Lego Marvel 2. The opening scene is like the Milano flying and you hear Redbones come and get your love, just like the opening scene of the original. So it's like anything now Guardians, and I kind of like off topic here, but I like the way what Taika Waititi's doing is taking some elements of Guardians and bringing it into Thor now.
I know, and that's why, and you can tell that that's going to work, because when Thor Ragnarok, again, we're going on a tangent, but I mean, just saying, but Thor Ragnarok, you could tell when they made it that it had that Guardians feel. So of course, once you see Endgame, spoiler, if you haven't seen Endgame, what are you
waiting for? Yeah,
exactly. But of course, that's the reason why when you see Thor end up with Guardians, I was like, this is like a match made in heaven. Like the way that last Thor movie felt, and with Guardians 1 and 2, it felt like those needed to come together. You know what I mean? So I kind of want to see I want to see I'm having brain farts on characters' names. But no, not Star-Lord, but what's his name? Drax. I want to see how Drax, and what is the name of the rock guy from Ragnarok? I can't think of his name at the moment.
That's the guy. Korg.
Yeah, Korg. I want to see how Korg and Drax are going to interact with each other. Like, I feel like that would be a conversation. Be like, "Hello, I'm Korg," and he's like, "Who are you?" Like, you could just see the chemistry and the humor that in between.
It brings me back. Like now we're way off topic, but that scene in Guardians 2 where Gamora and Star-Lord are having this heartfelt moment, and Drax just there eating potato chips.
Exactly.
He's like, here's crunch. He's like, how long have you been standing there? The whole time.
He's just still doing it. He's just looking at it like it's normal. There's been all those. But anyway, yeah, exactly. Continue.
Off topic, but I mean, that's how excited we are for this Guardians of the Galaxy game. Like, I mean, it's the fact that this is not a service game; it's an actual single player adventure. It has me looking forward to it. Like, I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, I mean, me too, and I can't wait to see what they do with it. Already the humor alone, what you see in that little spot, show that they have a grip on the humor. As long as it feels right, as far as visually and entertaining wise, it's going to be a joy.
Yeah, like I mean, they did it. Like I said, Telltale did a good job with their Guardians game, which is an overlooked game. If you haven't played the Telltale, like go play any of the Telltale games. They're fantastic.
The Batman, there's a lot of them.
Batman, The Walking Dead. What else is there? Oh, they had the Borderlands, Tales from the Borderlands.
Yes, and then they even had their own one they made, but didn't get popular, which was The Wolf Within, I think it's called.
The Wolf Among Us, based on I think it's based on Image or Vertigo Comics.
Yeah,
and see, there's I think the series is called Fables.
Yes, yep. And see, that's the thing. When I first played that, I was like, this is what brought me into Telltale games, even though it was a little bit later, like on The Walking Dead and everything. I was like, oh, and then I think I got it for free. I can't remember exactly how I got the game, but when I played it, I was like, this is interesting, and so I wanted to indulge. And then when they started bringing out Batman, like you said yourself, Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, okay, I got to do this. And then I think Borderlands is what set that off, and then I went into Batman and Guardians. But yeah, again, it's still our track. It does go back to the Gearbox thing.
But that Batman game, like it was a Batman. It's not a fighting Batman game like the way the Arkham series is. It's a detective game. You literally become a detective and have to solve crimes.
And that's something you never barely outside of Arkham kind of goes into it, but I feel like they did a better job in that way when it came to like being more of a detective. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so more of a storytelling.
Exactly. Which also pushed the story too. Yeah. So, but anyway, again, sidetrack on this stuff.
Yeah.
Now,
sorry, go on.
I did want to bring up one more thing. They brought up Capcom. I was actually that's the one I want to say that's disappointed. I was waiting for a fighting game, and they were so much in the Monster Hunter kick, which I'm understandable, and I understand the new Resident Evil is good.
Yeah.
But God, there were some things that like when they said they were going into the fighting game thing, I was like, oh sweet. So when they got to it, and they're like championship, I'm like really, this is what we get I'm sitting here through this whole thing thinking we're going to get either new
Where's my Marvel versus Capcom 4?
Exactly. Like
give us now's the time to do it. Strike while the iron's hot.
Exactly. And they gave us a bad one before because they took the whole mutants out. Now they have mutants. Give us an NBC. Give us
Yeah.
another Marvel's Capcom. Because I mean, that's going to go into other video too, which I'm not even going to talk about right
Yeah,
now. But
it's like
yeah,
they had in the late 90s, early 2000s, they had a run of arcade cabinets of just X-Men and Marvel, and but
yes,
that's in another episode. Spoiler
yeah,
alert.
yeah, exactly. So,
But
but I just
yeah,
wanted to bring that up because that's
and
something else that kind
Ubisoft
of
was the
made me.
same thing. Ubisoft was I found they focused too much on Rainbow Six, and it's
I
like,
agree.
yeah, I get it. Like Ubisoft usually has like these, like, where is Beyond Good and Evil 2? It like
I
disappeared.
I loved that game, and to see that they're still not showing love, and then how many years was it ago? We got that trailer. We got that trailer. What, like almost? It feels like
3 years
10 years
ago, I
now.
think it was
Is it
19 or
3? Yeah,
2018 or something like that.
it feels like it's even longer than that. I know we got a trailer, and then I know they were talking about when the first one came out, and then of course it never happened. Then we finally got a trailer, and then again years later, still nothing.
But
And
now
it's
the
like,
guy that was heading it left. Oh, Guillaume something. I forgot his name, but he left due to those like there were some allegations against him and stuff like that. So he
yeah.
left Ubisoft, and I guess he took the rights to the game with them or something. It's in limbo right now, and
Oh, geez, I didn't know about
I'm
that part.
so disappointed with that. The other thing I kind of thought, Ubisoft was kind of, usually they put on this great show, and this
Mm,
year you gave me another Mario Rabbids, which is fine. It's fun. Like, I
yeah.
mean, it's basically XCOM with Mario and the Rabbids.
Yeah, right. I
Basically,
was
is
always
what it.
wondering about that. Yeah, because I
Or
never
yeah.
actually played it.
The only thing I found cool was in a past episode we were talking with Campo Reviews. We were talking about the Ninja Turtles, how nobody's abused that Ninja Turtles franchise, and they brought the Ninja Turtles into Brawlhalla now.
I've already got my Leonardo character. I couldn't get all of them, but I was like, I got to get Leonardo because my favorite Ninja Turtle. So I've
Yeah.
already got him on there, and I've already played it, and I love it. That was the smartest thing they could ever do. Because honestly, I would have rather seen in Smash. But you
Yep.
know what? I could deal with this. I could deal with
Well,
this.
Smash, they're bringing in what's his name, Kazuya
Yes,
from Tekken.
but see, that's kind of the thing is they're bringing a lot of fighting characters in. Like I remember when they brought Ryu and Ken, I said this is amazing. But then I feel like they're pushing because we only have one more DLC character, and I don't
Yeah,
even have a Switch, but I still pay attention to that. And
yeah.
when I saw Minecraft came in, when Steve came in from Minecraft, I was like, okay, that's cool. But then like I feel like they're getting more fighting characters, and it's good. Don't get me wrong, I love
Yeah.
Tekken. It's just give us something that's out of the ordinary. Like everyone's like, I want Banjo and Kazooie. Exactly. Where is that?
Well, that now, especially now that Nintendo has a working relationship with Microsoft, they can bring in Banjo Kazooie, they can bring Joanna Dark in, they can bring Master
yes,
Chief in,
exactly. And
which,
like,
you know, there's
well,
so
that's
many
what's
characters from from Rare that they can bring in.
yeah. And see, we already had Solid Snake, so it's not like it's one of those things like, oh, we don't want to bring anything adult like Master Chief. It's like you already brought in Solid Snake. You can
Yeah.
bring in Master Chief. You know what I mean? So I'm doing it wrong. I was still excited to see it because the thing is not owning a Switch. If I ever get a Switch, I want to get Splatoon 2, Super Mario Maker 2. I haven't got to play Mario Odyssey. These are games I all want, and I had a Wii U.
Right.
So for me, I'm kind of being put on the wayside where I haven't still got to have the money to buy one. But every time I look at these games coming out, like for example, now that we don't have like a DS, like a new
Yeah.
DS always coming out, it's nice to see something like Metroid Dread, where it goes back to where it's like Super Metroid, or I can't remember what the other one was after Super Metroid, but
Yeah.
having that feel, you know what I mean? That makes me so happy because when I saw that,
Metroid
yeah,
Fusion.
Yeah, I never got to play it, and I never even really got to get any details with it. But then when I saw this one, and someone told me, "Oh no, that was actually in Fusion," where he does that, where Samus does that uppercut, where she does that. That was never in the Super Metroid, but I'm like, that's amazing. Why didn't they do that before? And now to see how they added it even more, I want to addictively just spam that game. And the thing is, I actually ignore Nintendo because of nothing else about like the Mario Golf. Everything else seemed boring to me.
But it's been done. Like, I mean, they're fun to play. It's a fun party game. Like they had the Mario Party. They had, they're even bringing back Cruisin' Blast. Remember Cruisin' US? Yeah. They're bringing back the Cruisin' series. So it's like, it's a lot of nostalgia games.
Yes, I agree. And see, I don't mind that. Like the Cruising, I used to love Cruising USA, so I am kind of excited to see that because I like those kind of things and like Burnout games like that where they're more arcade feel. But I guess again, the Dread was more of something like, oh, this is feeling kind of new because we're so used to Prime and all that kind of stuff that it is nice to see something a little different. So I was excited about it. Unfortunately for me, because I don't own the console, I'm just sitting there like, oh, I gotta wait and hopefully eventually I'll get it.
I think this is also the fact too, because they're working on Prime 4, But you know what? It's the 35th anniversary of Metroid. Here's a new Metroid game while you wait for Prime 4.
Exactly.
It's like, thank you. And it's a good one. Yeah. So I
know they talked about Dread years ago too, so I know that's something that people are waiting for. Like, what is Dread? And we finally see what Dread is, and it's like, okay, cool. I'm happy with this.
Yeah, I'm in with that one. That totally has me. Yeah, like Square Enix. You know, I do like a Life is Strange series, so I don't mind that they're having it more. They're expanding on that universe. I really like it. It's a nice heartwarming. It's a change of pace than all the die, kill games. Here's more zombies, right?
Yep. Well, for me, I actually played only a little bit of Life is Strange, and it's not because I didn't like it, but it was one of those games because with me being a YouTuber, I tend to stream a lot. It was one of those games I didn't get much attention, but I liked the atmosphere. I will admit, though, I kind of got bored only because I think when I was first trying it out, I was seeking more of an action feel, and I had no idea what it was. It was one of those games I think they gave for free for PlayStation Plus players.
Yeah, they did a few year or so ago.
Yeah, and that's how I got it. So I played it, and I think because I had no idea what it was, I was expecting something different. But I liked what it did, especially when she was like had the premonitions and everything.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, this is cool. I didn't know you could reverse time and do it. This is cool. But then like I stopped playing it because I was wanting to go back to the action, and then it kind of fell wayside. So it's not me saying anything bad about the game.
Yeah, it's just you haven't had a chance to.
Exactly. So I respect it for what it is because it is a good game. I'm not saying anything bad about it, but unfortunately, it was one of those things I didn't get the experience to be able to say too much about. So I want to mention that because I don't want people thinking, oh,
no, absolutely. But I mean, it's opinions are always subjective, right? It's your own opinion. I always like watching, like, even though they didn't have very much to show me, the Devolver always puts on a good show. Devolver Digital.
Yes. Okay. So Devolver Digital, when I saw that, I was actually a little bit mixed up because I heard about them, and then when I saw what they did, there was a lot there that I just hadn't experienced before. So it was new to me, and I did see some things I'd be interested in, but it definitely feels like they're more towards like a mobile market or a smaller version of that.
Yeah, it's very indie focused.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, like I mean, they're doing a Shadow Warrior remake.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, right.
So that's and then that character that she's like the head of whatever, the actress who plays Nina Struthers, the lady. She's the lady with the long brown hair.
Yeah.
It's like the executive of Devolver, but it's an actress playing an executive. She's not really the executive, but
because that was what appealed to me was the actual way they did that Devolver thing. Wasn't like the actual games. I'll be honest with you.
We're gonna put it on a videotape.
Yeah, exactly. And that was that right there actually got my attention. But I hate to say it, I feel like that for me overshadowed everything else because there were so many things being thrown at you, and then they would go back to this when you have Devolver Plus, blah blah, like that whole like streaming service thing that caught my attention to where because I was streaming it, a lot of people were like, oh wow, this is funny or this is weird. So I had that attention to that. So I hate to say it, I liked what I saw, but I feel like the whole storyline they were doing there kind of for me overshadowed the actual games itself. Does that make sense?
There's a Japanese it's set in feudal Japan, another one. It's called Trek to Yomi.
Oh, okay.
I think it was what it's called. That one that's like that black and white art style. It's a 2.5D. There's also the other one. It's like a Diablo clone, Wizard with a Gun.
Yes.
That kind of looks fun too.
The one I actually saw that was really interesting to me, and I don't know if it was with the Devolver, but it was the side-scrolling one where it had that depth and everything. It looks 8-bit, but it was like a side-scrolling fighting game.
That was on Microsoft.
Was that on Microsoft?
That was with Microsoft. I think that was called Replace.
Yeah, that actually looked really
like
cool.
a cyberpunk aesthetic type, but almost like Blade Runner.
And I can remember those Devolver games that showed.
No, that was we'll get into Microsoft now because Microsoft, I think they were the highlight of E3. The fact that the big consensus around Microsoft versus PlayStation, and don't get me wrong, I'm a gamer. I'll play anything. I don't have the Microsoft versus PlayStation. If it's good, I'll play it. Yeah, right. Exactly. That's just the way I am. I don't have that. And it's always been, PlayStation has exclusives. PlayStation has exclusive. Well, you know what? Microsoft bought Bethesda, and now Outer Worlds 2, probably arguably one of the best games of last year, is going to be an Xbox exclusive now.
Yeah.
Starfield, Bethesda's most highly anticipated game, is going to be now an Xbox exclusive.
But day one. I want gameplay footage.
I know it's pre-alpha,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's still highly anticipated.
Of course.
Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be an Xbox. Any future Doom games. There was one from Avalanche Studios, which now Xbox owns, which did the Just Cause series. They have this heist game called Contraband, which looks interesting. Like, yeah, it's only a teaser of what it is with Steely Dan playing in the background.
Yeah, right.
Was the song? I can't think of the song now.
Not familiar with too many Steely Dan songs, but I will say while you're trying to think of that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was the one other thing I wanted to bring up. But the whole Xbox Bethesda, again, me going into E3, I was the same way when it came to it. But you had mentioned the whole thing about consoles. Everyone was like PS5. The reason I picked PS5 was because of what it brought for me. All right. Yeah. But the thing is when, like, for example, Xbox and PlayStation 2 came out, I bought the PS2, got the Xbox, love my Xbox better. So much so that when 360 came out, I had the choice between 360 and PS3. I chose 360. I bought my 360 first and loved it way more than
a lot of people did that.
Yeah. And so then the same thing happened with PS4 and Xbox One. Which one am I going to like better? And when PS4 came out, they kind of shined on me a little more because they did their thing smartly, the E3 when they did that. You know what I mean? Xbox kind of messed up on that.
Yeah, now, with the DRM, the digital rights and all that. Yeah.
And that kind of drove me back over to PS4.
It always has to be connected to play.
Exactly. And so when they did this one for the new consoles, the reason I picked PS5 is, I will admit, it did some favoritism of friends because I had friends on Xbox 360. But at the same time, I think what made me go for it was because there was the whole excitement value to it. Like, more people were like expecting more out of it. And then you do have more graphic capabilities with Xbox, but then the SSD drive is better on the PS5. So either way, you get both. So right now for me, since I've already got the PS5, is whether I'm going to get the Xbox or the Switch. And the Switch already has a library of stuff that I know I'm going to love, like Splatoon and all that stuff that I named. But Xbox is getting there because the last Gears is as good as I said.
It's fantastic. I love the last Gears.
And because I even had Xbox One and I had played Killer Instinct on it and loved it, but it didn't have enough games on there for me to play. And Halo, unfortunately, like Halo 4, I'll be honest with you, Halo 4 was a mess for me. Yeah. I did not like it. So seeing Halo Infinite and the way it looks,
Halo 5 was a bit of an improvement, but it still wasn't what you'd expect.
Yeah. So Halo Infinite, just the trailer alone has got me hyped again for Halo. Like, I want to be back on the bandwagon, even though Bungie's not involved. I'm like, I think I'm back on the bandwagon, but now it's a matter of like, what am I going to pick? Xbox or Nintendo? And that's what makes this great E3 was this is an E3 that said, okay, here's what we're offering you. And of course, Nintendo brought their game. Xbox brought their game, but unfortunately, Xbox had Bethesda, and that kind of brought the game a little bit more. So that's how it works for me.
They definitely brought all the games, like not just like, I mean, exclusive. Like, there's Stalker 2. Like, like, I mean, thank you very much. I haven't thought about Stalker in years, and now Stalker 2 is going to be like an Xbox exclusive. Like, that's fantastic. The spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead. What's it called? Back 4
Blood. Yeah. See, that's another one, but that's gonna be on all consoles, so that's good in that part in that way. But that's making me pretty excited.
That's also gonna be free with Game Pass. They're giving it to you with Game Pass, basically. Yeah.
And like, I'm kind of tempted. Xbox is really tempting me over there.
Yeah. And what used to be exclusive to PlayStation is now with the Xbox or all the Yakuza series.
Yep.
Like, I've been like the last few weeks, I've been playing Like a Dragon on my Xbox because why would I pay $70 to play it on the PS4 when I play it for free?
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And if it's no good, no harm, no foul. You know, and that's it's almost like a rental service, like from back in the day.
Well, see, here's the thing. When I heard about Game Pass, I did more information. I didn't realize it was like one set price, and you get to play games when they get released.
Yeah.
And when I heard about that, I think PlayStation tried to do the same thing with PlayStation Now, but it didn't really work out. Like, you're doing two separate services that I feel like is not working in that way. But that's my whole point. That's the reason why I feel like Xbox is doing it right. But at the same time, hopefully they're not losing money out of it. I don't know how the situation on that is. I don't really have.
You know how they're not losing money? The fact that PlayStation is paying Microsoft to use their servers.
Oh, okay. See, that makes sense now. That makes sense. So there you go.
In case people didn't know, that's actually a thing. Like, anytime you play on a PlayStation game online, it's Microsoft servers.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah, I heard about that too, but I didn't really know. Yeah, I think that's pretty true. Yeah, I think I read about that.
Think about it though. Like, they're competing not only with like PS Plus and PS Now, but they're also competing with like Google Stadia, for example, because with Game Pass, you also have xCloud. So you can stream your game on your phone or tablet or your PC anywhere you are.
Yeah.
As long as you have the app installed.
And that's a benefit. Like I said, that's a benefit that's really making Xbox look good. Like I feel like Sony kind of missed out on because E3 hasn't been big lately, but E3 we kind of missed out because of last year and the pandemic.
Yeah.
But like this, like I feel like Sony should have jumped in there because I feel like they lost a lot of attention. That
yeah, they were mysteriously absent. They even said they weren't going to be there this year.
Yeah. And I understand that E3 is kind of down because I will say this: E3 definitely felt like more of an indie indie warehouse this season, which is understandable, and more of like talking about rights for people, and I'm okay with that. Nothing against that, but I feel like because that Xbox definitely got a time to shine, and there were so many times other companies, because even Capcom failed in my eyes. Square Enix, even though they did show Guardians of the Galaxy, I feel like they still kind of failed on their end. And then the Nintendo part, the Nintendo Direct was amazing, but the Treehouse kind of went on too long. So
they tend to do that a lot, though. Like I like when they do the 15-20 minute Nintendo Directs. Done. Thank you very much, and see you later.
Exactly. And they kind of dragged that on, and I think they were doing it to fill up time. And it's kind of like, well, that's kind of the part I actually like was dozing off to the point where I was like, okay, I can't stick around, which is bad because then I didn't even get to stick around for the Bandai Namco, and I have no idea what they showed there. I think it was just one game.
I think I missed that one completely. But it's probably more Naruto or Dragon.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean,
not that there's anything wrong with Naruto. I love Naruto.
Yeah.
One Piece all the way.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm more of a. That's another
episode.
Yeah, exactly. When it gets into anime, I'm an old anime fanatic, but that's another.
Okay. You're Gundam, Evangelion,
Gundam, MD Geist, Serial Experiment Lane, Vampire Hunter D. That's
Vampire Hunter D. There's my
yes. So that's I even saw the Mark Hamill MD Geist movie. No joke. But anyway,
that's a topic for another day then, I guess. But other than that, like I said, Xbox killed it with indies. Like, I mean, they had the exclusive trailer for the Diablo 2 remake.
Oh my god! Like that's the reason why Xbox One hands down. That's why the little things like that. They didn't even try to sugarcoat it. I mean, they did. Game Pass was advertised a lot, but they're like, hey, you can get it wherever you want. So even these games that may not have a lot of caliber, but you're like, oh, I wish I can get it. You can get it on your PC. Like if you don't have a high caliber PC, you could still get these lower games like Diablo,
indie style games, like like the one you were talking about, Replace.
Yes.
There's what else? There's Age of Empires coming out.
Oh my god, yes.
Like what else do we have? We had they even had the trailer because they have the working relationship with EA. They had that long trailer for Battlefield 2042.
And
because EA was absent from this year, because what are they going to show? Another Madden?
Yeah, right. And see, another thing I wanted to go back, guys, you brought out Outer Worlds before, and I didn't get a chance to jump in. I actually never played the first one, and I wish I did. But I now am intrigued because that trailer alone, that little thing where he's like, this is
here's a creature. Is it going to be in the game? We don't know.
That right there made me want to play the game because they understand the humor that appeals to me. Kind of like the Tiny Tina Wonderland trailer or any Borderlands trailer. It had that feel for it. So when I saw the Outer Worlds 2, I had no idea what the game was. And then when it popped up saying Outer Worlds 2, everyone else was like, oh my God. And me, I was like, I still don't know what this is. But it made me intrigued.
It's Obsidian. Obsidian makes it. So they've made Fallout New Vegas. They did the South Park, the second one, the Fractured Butthole.
The Fractured Butthole. Yeah, exactly. So I'm familiar with Obsidian, but unfortunately, that was the thing. I didn't get to play that one. So because again, how even if the games are popular, like they kind of fall the wayside because there's so many games, you have little time. And I'm a movie buff as well, comic books, TV shows. Like you can't fit everything in one day. And
plus, I have a full-time job too, right? Like you're actually lucky that you make your living off of this, right?
Yeah.
So you're lucky that I actually get up every morning and go to work 5, sometimes 6 days a week, right?
And you're still doing podcasts and doing video game reviews. So it's like
so I'm hustling, boy. I'm hustling. But you know what? A lot of it, like I said, I got you to thank for that. I got RLG, Roblox Games, like Campo reviews. Like you guys have been really helpful getting me to get this off the ground.
Yeah, it took me a while too, and I'm still not even there to be honest with you. Like I'm just getting help and everything, but I won't get into a subject like that. It's still
Yeah,
not, I'll tell you
that's
that on the side. Yeah.
yeah,
But anyway,
that's but yeah, other than that, is there anything else you wanted to bring up with this?
like I said, there wasn't. I wouldn't say like there's a lot of good stuff. Again, I did say something about in television that Amico console that feels kind of like a Wii. I
Yeah,
feel like it. I looked up the price. It's only $100 for it. It comes with two controllers. I actually think it's a good thing, especially for people that aren't hardcore gamers. So I feel like it's fun. Whether or not it has staying appeal, I don't know. But I
yeah.
will say, based on their conference, there is a little bit of intrigue. So
Yeah,
I did
it's
want
like
to
the
add that in.
Atari. It just launched not that long ago. Was the Atari VCS, but nobody's talking
Exactly.
about it.
Yeah, and so that's what I'm afraid is going to happen with this. But I will say their whole touchscreen controller, the way it looks, that might be something that appeals if they can
Especially to
do.
somebody who's a little younger, like
Yeah.
because a lot of like post Z generation,
Hmm.
they're basically any like 7 to 10 year olds. They're always with a phone, a tablet, or something in their hands. So I think that might appeal to them to bring back some of that old school gaming to the future.
Exactly. And see, another thing is, I kind of look at it as it's all about marketing. If they market this properly, it could be a success. But if they falter on the marketing and don't know what their audience is that's going to pick it up, I think it falls waste to
Yeah,
the side. It's
because
like
you
I
also
think
got to play into that nostalgia factor. Because now
exactly.
it's people like us who have that disposable income in our age who grew up with this kind of thing.
Hmm.
It's going to play to that nostalgia factor. Like I got my Sega Genesis Mini, I got my NES. Like I mean,
Exactly.
that's nostalgia to me. The fact that my Genesis Mini can actually play Sega Genesis
Yes,
games.
that's the smart thing they did that Nintendo didn't do, and I love that they did that. They're like, okay, we're gonna let you be able to put the cartridges in there too, and I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Which
so I can play
unfortunately I
all
didn't
my.
get one
I
sadly, but
still have all my old Genesis games too. So it's like I have like remember that X-Men, the
yes,
oh
yes.
clone, yeah, clone. Oh, those
I still have my Eternal Champions case. I've got my Doctor Robotnik's Me Beam
yeah.
Machine with the manual and the case and everything.
Go
I was
watch
like,
the Sega Genesis episode that we did a
yeah,
while
yeah,
back
exactly, exactly,
if you want to know what games to play on that Genesis Mini. But yeah,
exactly.
other than that, yeah, I think it's all good. Putty Man, thanks again for joining me. Hope to have
Thank
you
you.
again soon.
I
And with that
appreciate it.
note, guys, thanks for watching and keep on gaming.